In the wee hours of the morning on Monday, April 18th, 2016, a person dressed in full police tactical gear broke into Creekside Church in Midlothian, Texas, a suburb of Dallas. Creekside Church has security cameras, and you can watch footage of the break-in online. Whoever this person is, they're wearing a helmet, a mask, what looks like a bulletproof vest, fully concealing their identity. They wander the halls, fiddle with the doors, and swing around a hammer they found on site. It's not clear what the person's objective is. They don't seem to be looking for anything specific, and they aren't taking anything. Just lurking from room to room, in no hurry at all, opening up as many doors as they can, getting a sense of the space. At one point, they use the hammer to seemingly break through the glass on one of the doors. It's roughly 4 o'clock in the morning. There's no one else at the church but this masked person with almost no identifying features. It's not even clear whether they're a man or a woman, although they do walk with a kind of limp. That's the only thing remotely identifiable about them. Maybe they have an injury, or maybe the boots they're wearing are too big for their feet, causing that funny walk. Maybe they borrowed or stole the boots, along with the rest of the gear marked with the word police. But aside from the busted lock and broken glass, the person doesn't seem to be causing a whole lot of damage. Until Missy Beavers arrives.
Her class started at 5 a.m.
This is Renee Rodden, a friend of Missy's.
But she had early birds that was going to come in at 4:30 because they wanted to be able to get their class done and be able to get to work.
Missy was a fitness instructor and taught all over the Dallas metro area, and this morning's class happened to be at the church. It was beating down rain, and Missy didn't want her students to be discouraged. So she made a Facebook post before setting up. The post read, "If it's raining, we're still training."
So she arrived at like 4:16. She parked under the awning, and she opened her car door. She went to the tailgate of her truck, and I guess she had keys that unlocked it. And so she put the key in the tailgate, she opened it up, she got some of her stuff out, she went in.
Renee lives just 5 minutes from the church and has lived in the area pretty much her whole life. She's thought of this particular morning so often, she knows the story by heart.
The door that everybody goes into is the awning door. And she went into that door, and you go all the way down that hall. That was approximately 4:20. So we're talking just minutes after arriving in the church.
Renee can explain this so vividly because she's seen the security footage of this moment thousands of times.
She walks down that hall, and she sees something, and she kind of jerks her head like she heard something, and she continues down that hall.
None of her students were set to arrive for at least another 10 minutes, and none of them would have had a key to get in anyway. What could she have heard?
It's something out of a horror movie because you see her go in and you want to tell her, don't go, because you know what's going to happen.
Missy continues further down the hallway. Maybe she thought she was being paranoid. I know when I'm by myself in the dark, I always think I'm hearing something. But Missy wasn't being paranoid.
When she got to the end of that hall, that's where she was attacked, and that's where she was killed.
Waiting for her around the corner was the masked person. The one with all the tactical gear and the hammer.
It was just mind-boggling.
At 4:35 a.m., Missy's first students arrived, and what they found would scar them and the entire community forever.
Police are trying to figure out why somebody dressed as a police officer ambushed and murdered a fitness instructor at a church. Mother and fitness trainer Terry Missy Beavers was murdered inside a Midlothian church.
The woman murdered was a mother of 3 who taught fitness classes.
Apparently, the police do have footage of the actual murder, but because of the violent nature of the crime,
it's never been shown.
Despite the fact that the murder was captured on the church's surveillance system, and the fact that we just hit the 10-year anniversary of that fateful morning at Creekside Church, this case still has more questions than answers, and I am determined to find out why that is. Missy's murder is one of the biggest unsolved mysteries of the last decade, definitely in the Dallas area, maybe even all of Texas. What is being hidden from the public, and who is hiding it?
Some innocent woman was brutally murdered, and that's not It shouldn't happen and somebody needs to pay for it.
From Free Range Productions, this is The Unforgotten: Who Killed Missy Beavers? I'm Zoe Colgan. This is Episode 1, Murder at the Church. Once word got out about a murdered woman, Midlothian and the surrounding areas were sent into a tailspin.
Several law enforcement agencies have joined Midlothian police hunting for the person who murdered a fitness instructor.
They've had hundreds of leads come in, but only about a dozen have been solid enough for police to follow up on.
There are so many troubling aspects to this crime, of murder committed inside a church, a murder in a town that hasn't seen a murder in years, and a suspect caught on surveillance camera wearing full police tactical gear.
Although Midlothian sits just under 30 miles outside of Dallas, this is not a metro area. I drove up from Austin during my reporting of the story to get a feel for the town. It was pouring, not unlike the morning Missy was killed. I am crossing into the city limits of Midlothian. You can also probably hear my windshield wipers. I'm originally from South Carolina and grew up in a suburb of Charlotte, kind of like what Midlothian is to Dallas. Plus, I've worked on the true crime beat for years now. Many of them set in towns that look like Midlothian, so part of it was familiar. It's lots of fields, but then random little, planned communities that look a little bit out of place. But Midlothian seemed to be in a pretty transitional period. Maybe 10, 15 years behind my hometown when it comes to development. It's becoming less rural, more suburban maybe, but it's not quite there yet. It was rural, but then all of a sudden you'd see houses that looked like they belonged in one of those nice neighborhoods in Dallas. It was kind of hard to get a grasp of the socioeconomic makeup of the town, but it definitely did not seem like somewhere a lot of murder took place. Here's Missy's friend Renee Rodden again.
Midlothian is a nice city, town, whatever you want to call it, upper middle class. I mean, it's not a place where you would be afraid to raise your family.
Renee was born and raised in Texas and has lived in the Dallas suburbs for decades.
And I live about 5 minutes from the church, so it's a neighboring city to Midlothian.
When she first heard about a dead body found at the church right up the street from her house, she thought for sure it was some kind of medical emergency, like maybe a janitor had a heart attack.
You're not instantly thinking murder. I was just shocked that it wasn't something like somebody just died or whatever. Somebody was actually killed, murdered in a church, and it just blew my mind.
She's been invested in Missy's case from the very beginning, and not just for the obvious reasons of it being so close to home. She remembers the moment she heard about it on TV.
You hear, Missy Beavers of Red Oak, Texas, was found murdered at a church. And I thought, what? Oh my God, I knew her. I couldn't believe it.
She had known Missy for years and had fond memories of the time she spent with her.
She was one of those people that you never would think anything bad about her. She had that demeanor, she was just kind, she was caring, and you would trust her. You would trust her with your kids or your purse or whatever. It was just mind-boggling.
Renee has worked many odd jobs throughout her life. Like a lot of moms, she needed something with flexibility, so she could be there for her kids when she needed to be. Missy, a mother of 3 daughters, the oldest being 16 at the time of the murder, needed the same.
I met Missy in 2013. I was working for a company called Vault Denim.
Renee had heard of Vault Denim through some other women in town and thought it would be the perfect side hustle. Truthfully, it was an MLM, a jeans MLM. Think Mary Kay Beauty.
But it was jeans. So I was looking for something where I could work from home, but make some legit money. I didn't want it to be, something that wasn't real. And I found out that you actually got the inventory and you would actually have jean parties. And I thought that sounds really cool.
Renee had been selling jeans, but she wasn't a jeans dealer. She didn't call them dealers, but it's easier to think of in those terms and kind of more fun. But anyway, there were only a few women that actually held all the jeans inventory from Vault Denim HQ. All the sellers would have to pick up their inventory at the jeans dealer closest to them. And the jeans dealer closest to her was really starting to piss her off.
So there was this woman that had them in Waxahachie. So I would go to her house, and she just didn't seem to be very friendly. So I kind of got irritated, and I thought there's got to be somebody else that doesn't make you feel guilty when you go over there. Even though you set up everything with her, she acted like it was such an inconvenience that she was just like, just puffing and puffing.
So she contacted the company and found another woman she could go to. It was 20 minutes out of the way, but to Renee, it was worth it.
And they said, well, we have this woman in Red Oak, so it's going to be further for you, but she's available.
Red Oak is about 10, 15 miles tops from Midlothian.
Well, I was like, I don't care. At this point, I would rather drive to Red Oak 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, than deal with this woman who's always mad. So they said her name is Missy Beavers, and this is her address. So I contacted her.
Missy was Renee's jeans dealer for about a year. She would go to her house every week to pick up inventory, often bringing members of her family with her to help her carry everything. At one time or another, Renee's whole family met Missy. She said her daughter specifically connected with her.
They were over there chatting like they'd known each other for 20 years and laughing and having a wonderful time. And I'm over there picking up jeans, and I was like, I want to be, hanging out with y'all in this little party you're having. They were just laughing and ha-ha and all that. So I just thought it was cool how everybody in my family connected with her in such an easy way.
Renee and Missy's friendship never really progressed outside of their business relationship.
If we would have saw each other in the store, we would have been like, hey, like that. We would have definitely, because we kind of connected. But I'm one of those people, I never want to seem like that creepy person that's like adding you on Facebook right away. So I never did that, Looking back, I kind of wished I would have, only because she was such a nice person.
But Renee always felt like Missy really cared about her. In fact, Renee told me that Missy tried to get her on the fitness train too. Missy was known around town for her passion for fitness.
She was trying to get me involved in some of her other things, fitness related, of course. And I just was kind of intimidated because she was super small and she was very fit and I wasn't. And she was like, hey, I haven't always been this size. And she got out a picture and showed it to me, I guess, to make me feel better. So you could just tell she really cared about people, and she wasn't just trying to make a dollar or whatever. She was just really trying to be friendly. But like I said, back then I was just so intimidated that I was just like, I couldn't even consider it. I was like, no, thank you.
Because of Missy's kindness in that year of working together, her death hit Renee hard. But she was far from the only one. Missy's case made news nationwide, and thousands of people, most of whom had never met her, would start demanding justice.
The first thing you notice when you're holding a flamingo shaver is just how sturdy it is. I don't know about you, but in the past, I've constantly purchased cheap razors that felt like they were going to break upon contact. And I think because it's a sturdier razor, it's a smoother and gentler shave. I didn't walk away with bumps and irritation. The shave felt close. My skin felt smooth. I'm a big fan. So when I received my starter set, it really did have everything I needed. It included the razor, of course, facial dermaplane razors to sweep away the peach fuzz off my face, a really nice foaming shave gel that really just helped protect my skin, and probably my most favorite, a suction cup shower holder. For a limited time, Unforgotten listeners can get the Flamingo starter set for only $7 at shopflamingo.com/unforgotten. This set includes the Flamingo Original Shaver, one 5-blade cartridge, and 1 ounce foaming shave gel and a shower holder. Just head to shopflamingo.com/unforgotten to claim this offer, and after you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support the Unforgotten and tell them that we sent you.
You know that feeling when you're just bloated and gassy and your gut health is just off? And maybe you've been dealing with it for so long, you don't even know how much better you could feel. That's why I recently started taking Physician's Choice 60 Billion Probiotic. It's one pill that I take every morning. And I love that it's not just one probiotic strain. It's actually 10 different strains, all in one simple daily capsule. It survives stomach acid and it actually gets where it needs to go. Physician's Choice 60 Billion Probiotic is made in the USA with a no questions asked 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to Amazon or physicianschoice.com and use the code PCPodcast10 for 10% off your entire order. PC Podcast 10 for 10% off. Best results after a month of use, so invest in your gut. Subscribe and save up to 40% off your order. Also find Physician's Choice at all your favorite retailers.
As more information began to come out about Missy's murder in the spring of 2016, the internet went wild because of the unbelievability of this case. People really clung to it. First of all, this was the first homicide in Midlothian in 7 years, so obviously the locals were rocked. But it was also just so absurd. A mom of 3 brutally murdered at a church of all places. And the culprit was caught on video. And yet, police didn't seem to have a promising suspect. I mean, they didn't even know if the person in the video was a man or a woman. All they had was this video of a person in full tactical gear, completely masked and covered. They couldn't even accurately gauge their height. At first, they said the murderer was 5'2" to 5'8", but then later went back on that, saying they were most likely 5'8" or taller. Between the lack of answers, the unlikeliness that something like this would happen to a suburban mom like Missy, and the true crime boom that was happening around the time of the murder, this case was a recipe for obsession. And that's exactly what people were. Obsessed.
I've always been interested in true crime, but this was next level because this was somebody I could really relate to.
That's Crystal Lawson. She's a real estate agent in Frisco, a town not too far from Midlothian.
I know a lot of people that go to that church, and I just know a lot of people live in Midlothian. So I was really obsessed with it. And then I found out that Missy's 3 children are the same age as my 3 kids. So I just kind of became really enveloped in this case. And then I joined the Facebook groups about it. And I immediately started meeting people in there that were also interested in it.
The Facebook groups. The first thing I came across when researching this case were the Facebook groups. Now remember, Missy was murdered 10 years ago. And today, there are multiple active Facebook groups of people trying to solve her murder. Who Killed Missy Beavers? The Unsolved Murder of Missy Beavers, Badge and Blood, the Missy Beavers Investigation, just to name a few. Some of these groups have almost 10,000 members. And they're made up of people not just from Texas, but from all over the country, even all over the world. Crystal and Renee actually met in one of these groups.
We didn't really start talking until about January of 2018. We started talking on the phone, and we realized that we had about the same level of obsession.
We both apparently messaged this guy at the same time.
Neither Crystal or Renee can remember the fine details, but they both remember commenting on the same post some guy in one of their Facebook groups made.
And so I guess I saw her commenting, she saw me commenting, and I thought, she seems normal.
We both commented on a post at the same time, and we were asking the same questions. So we jumped each other's DMs and said, hey, I was wondering the same thing, that kind of thing.
So I asked her if I could talk to her on the phone because I just want to make sure I was talking to a normal person, not some wacko. She said, okay. So we talked on the phone, and I was like, thank God, somebody normal. It's not cuckoo, or whatever.
It's like a true crime meet cute.
Over the course of time, we just became good friends, talked on the phone frequently, got to know more about each other and our families.
We just started a friendship, and, I think we both enjoyed knowing that neither one of us was going to come after the other one.
Crystal and Renee began calling each other every day and meeting up when they could to discuss the case.
We had exhaustive conversations about every little piece of this case and gone over search warrants, and we would take turns doing, public record requests.
As someone who has to submit a lot of public records requests, I can say with certainty that it's not fun. It can be a tedious process, and that's not to mention how difficult it can be to read them. I asked Renee why she felt called to take this investigation into her own hands.
I've always been investigative by nature. I grew up looking for my family because I didn't grow up with my family. So I've always been researching and looking and investigating. So I kind of think from all the years of doing that, it's just made my mind very investigative. And so I was looking for all my family, my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, everybody. And that started when I was 11. So I've been doing this my whole life. And so I think it's just natural for me, to investigate and research and look. And it's almost like I can't stop until I figure it out.
And she hasn't stopped trying to figure out who was in that church, seemingly waiting for Missy, for a full decade. After many years of her and Crystal's sleuthing sessions, they needed a bigger platform.
We had so many notes and so many people we had talked to and kind of informally interviewed, and we just decided one day in maybe late 2019, early 2020, I'll never forget, we're on the phone. We said, we should just do a podcast.
And thus, True Crime Broads, Crystal and Renee's podcast dedicated to finding Missy Beaver's killer, was born.
Because we had a lot of people joining the Facebook groups, and then we would try to get them up to speed, like in Messenger. And that became time consuming. And we started cut and pasting as much as we could. And we finally just decided it would be really cool to take all this information and just start a podcast where we could get the information out there for whoever wants to listen.
And so we did. We just started the podcast. And I don't think there's probably been maybe 2 days in the last, 9 years. There's maybe been 2 days that we haven't talked.
True Crime Broads took off.
Welcome to True Crime Broads. This is Crystal
And Renee.
and we're so happy to have Renee back in the studio.
Yay!
They've interviewed members of Missy's family, legal experts, and even persons of interest in the case, many of whom I'll get into in later episodes. Over the past 6 years of making the podcast, it has garnered a loyal fan base. It also has its own Facebook group now, and from what I found, it's the largest one, with just under 10,000 members. This was fascinating to me. Crystal and Renee are two middle-aged moms with no professional experience in journalism, production, or law. And here they were, reading through public records, talking to key players in the case, and leading a group of thousands of passionate online sleuths in the name of justice for Missy. I figured the creation of this podcast could not have been easy for them. I mean, to be honest, on my call with Crystal, it took us nearly 30 minutes for her to connect her AirPods to her computer.
I don't know how to do anything technical. I mean, you saw how hard it was for me to get my earpods connected to my laptop. So you can imagine how she and I publishing a podcast was very funny. But there were nights where we were almost crying. I was calling her and going, I can't get the freaking MP3 to upload.
This part was not shocking. When I went back and listened to early episodes, I could tell the technical aspect of this podcast had come a long way.
We don't do a lot of editing. We just kind of let conversations rip.
I talked to Crystal about some of those first recordings.
We sound really stupid because we sound like we're on a phone call. We started off going, hi, Renee. Hi, Crystal. It was so goofy.
I didn't think they sounded stupid at all. These women weren't doing it to make money or even to get famous. They were getting out of their comfort zones and putting themselves out there, all for Missy, in hopes that they could keep a focus on her story and bring her justice.
And we really were hoping, too, that the podcast would trigger somebody else to go, oh, I need to add something to that I know that they don't know. You know what I mean? Well, and more importantly, reach out to the police. We always, always, always direct them to the police first.
I will get into how the police has handled this investigation over the past decade throughout the season. But let's just say, homegrown internet sleuths like Renee and Crystal have brought a lot of things to light.
So whether we like it or not, it is officially summer, at least in Texas. So that's why I'm really excited. I have a new dress from Quince. It's the European linen fit and flare midi dress. And I just love how light it feels on my skin, the quality of the fabric. It's going to be an easy breezy summer with the linen options at Quince.
And it's not just clothing. Quince has really become a destination for elevated essentials across home, kitchen, bedding, and beyond, making it easy to bring a more premium feel into everyday life.
Another item that I've been loving lately is in the kitchen and dining section. They're the organic cotton gauze napkins, and they literally feel like a baby blanket against your mouth when you're wiping your face at the end of a meal. They are beautiful. They wash well. I don't have to iron them, and they look perfect on our table. I'm in love with these napkins, and I don't care who knows it.
Elevate your summer wardrobe. Go to quince.com/unforgotten for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/unforgotten for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/unforgotten.
While reporting this story, I talked to a handful of these so-called internet sleuths. many of whom are active in Crystal and Renee's Facebook group on a daily basis. But I have to be clear here. These people are hard to vet. And they don't all have the pure intentions or ethics of the true crime broads. Many of them told me they knew for certain who killed Missy.
I don't believe anyone could argue with that walk and the perps walk in the video that they are not identical.
Like, oh my God, like, people don't think he did it? Like, what the hell?
But I had to take all these convictions with a grain of salt, as I learned they had never met Missy, or her family, or the person they were accusing of murder. I mean, many of them didn't even live in the state, and certainly had never been to Midlothian. They meant well, but most of their information came from online gossip. However, I did hear them out. You never know who could give you a tidbit of information that could blow the case wide open. A common opinion online, as with most cases like this, is that the spouse must be involved. In this case, the spouse was Missy's husband and father of her 3 children, Brandon Beavers.
My wife was she was a godly woman.
This is a clip of Brandon from an interview he did with Fox 4 Dallas-Fort Worth outside of his home the day after Missy was murdered.
And she was very passionate about changing people's lives with fitness and changing their mental attitude towards their body and themselves and their abilities in life.
Now, anyone who follows true crime knows that the first place you look is the husband. But Brandon had an airtight alibi.
I was in Biloxi, Mississippi, about to go on a fishing trip down on the Chandeleur Islands.
Police said they confirmed this alibi, but people online to this day still think Brandon is involved in his wife's death, somehow, some way. The clips you just heard of him are from local news interviews in the days following Missy's murder. But his relationship with the press has been rocky over the last decade. Even then, he did not want media attention.
I guess this is your last time. You're not going to speak again after this. Is that correct? This isn't what
I really don't.
Brandon had already made it known he would not make a habit out of speaking to the press.
In terms of obtaining a story to pull at heartstrings and stuff like that, I'm not looking here for the media to sensationalize a tragedy, okay? My family we need our privacy, and that's why I wanted to do this in one time only. But we need our privacy.
I actually understand Brandon's skepticism when it comes to the press. True crime is a massive industry that a lot of people, including myself, make a living off of. But at the heart of all good reporters is the desire to not let victims be forgotten. It's the job of the media to put pressure on institutions, and in cases like Missy's that go years and years without being solved, it's journalists that make sure their stories never die, and the hope that their families can get answers remains alive. A member of the Fox 4 team offered this perspective to Brandon.
You understand, sir, that we are here because we want to help the police catch whoever did this as well.
Yes. But as far as any, one-on-one interview, tug at the heartstrings, kind of stories, sensationalized, I'm not here for that.
I don't think any of us are trying to sensational. I mean, your wife was a mother and a woman who touched so many lives through her work.
Correct. You are correct.
And that's why, we'll want to share her story.
Unfairly or not, Brandon's aversion to talk to the press came off to some people as him having something to hide. He was torn to shreds in the Facebook groups, on Reddit, and some sleuths told me Brandon started to clap back.
He will get on Reddit and make some kind of weird statements sometimes.
Oh, he gets very defensive.
Some people told me about personal interactions they had had with Brandon that felt aggressive, but they didn't feel comfortable sharing for the podcast. Over the past decade, he has gone through phases of being open and sharing about the investigation, to writing nasty comments and then quickly deleting them. Once, after Crystal and Renee had a certain guest on their podcast, who I will talk about more in a later episode, Brandon got upset. He wrote a post in their Facebook group demanding they take down the episode, or, quote, "We will show up to your tree planting to explain ourselves personally." Brandon tagged 2 of his daughters and others in the comment and was referencing an event Crystal and Renee were hosting to honor Missy. This was years ago, but he remains active online today. Just recently, he commented on a Facebook post from the Waxahachie Daily Light, a local paper that released an article about Missy. The comment is long and details the relationship he's had with the Midlothian Police Department. Give them a break, Brandon writes. The public doesn't know all the details. We want resolution as well. I just can't blame MPD for no resolution. The people I spoke to all seemed very wary of picking a fight with Brandon, even warning me against talking to him.
I wouldn't reach out to Brandon.
But of course, I didn't listen.
Hello?
Hi, Brandon.
Yes, it is.
Hi, Brandon. Is now a good time? Do you have like a couple minutes?
Yeah, depending on what it is.
Okay. Well, I was hoping to get a full interview with Brandon for the podcast and give him the opportunity to defend himself from online sleuths that are constantly hurling accusations at him. He told me that he's just not interested in talking to anyone in the media. He doesn't trust it. And honestly, I get it. His wife's murder is probably the most traumatic thing to ever happen to him. Why would he want to talk to a stranger like me about it, especially all these years later? He did talk with me on the phone a little bit, though. I won't play any more of the audio of our conversation out of respect for him and his family's wishes, but I was grateful he took the time to speak with me. It was a pleasant conversation. He wasn't mad I was doing the podcast, he just didn't want to be a part of it. I reached out to Missy's oldest daughter, Hannah, too, in hopes she'd want to speak with me. She shared a similar sentiment to her dad. Her email back to me said, "I appreciate you reaching out and wanting to do something honoring my mom. She truly was the best mom I could have ever asked for. Unfortunately, I am not wanting to participate in any media coverage. As I am sure you learned from my dad, it's been a struggle dealing with the backlash from people on social media. Right now, I am not wanting to open the floodgates again, if that makes any sense. Thank you for thinking of me, and I wish you the best." This was an incredibly nice response. I was disappointed that Missy's family's voices wouldn't be present here, but it felt good to know that they weren't against it. They didn't want Missy's story to be forgotten either. When talking with Brandon on the phone, I did pick his brain a little bit about what he thought happened. Who did he think did it? He told me he's entertained many theories over the years, and at this point, he leaned towards this being a burglary gone wrong. Missy was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. I hadn't considered this before, and in all fairness, it seems pretty unlikely. I mean, it's a church, not a bank. I decided to run this theory by Crystal and Renee.
It's the stupidest thing ever.
That's actually comical to me.
On the next episode of The Unforgotten, Who Killed Missy Beavers, I go to the scene of the crime.
What a wonderful opportunity to say, look at the power of the Lord. Do you realize that Jesus would still be who he is and God would still be good, even if this had not been the outcome? Even if this had not been the outcome, because here's what radical belief does. Radical belief says, God, I'm with you. You are my ride or die, no matter what.
Could this really have been a burglary gone wrong? Or was someone really out to kill Missy Beavers? Coming up on this season of The Unforgotten, Who Killed Missy Beavers?
Okay, she was stabbed. No, wait a minute, it was a hammer. And come to find out, she was shot.
Midlothian's the swinger capital of the world, so
I don't give a crap if she had 15 affairs with 15 different men in 2-week time period. That is not an open invitation to murder someone, period. Because if it is, there's a lot of people going to be dead.
I don't believe anyone could argue with that walk and the perps walk in the video that they are not identical.
Obviously, the only thing anyone's talking about is the Missy Beavers murder, right? So you've got a Beavers, same spelling, coming in here with a shirt with blood all over it. She calls the police.
The Unforgotten is a free-range production. Season 6, Who Killed Missy Beavers, is written and hosted by me, Zoe Colkin. Our executive producer is Wes Ferguson. Audio editing by Aislinn Gaddis. Engineering and sound design by Austin Sisler with Eastside Studios. Get our newsletter at unforgottenpod.com. Thanks for listening.